So my name is Patrick Hickey, and I'm the director of the Workers' Rights Center. And I've been involved with the Workers' Rights Center since it was formed and founded back in 2002. It certainly wasn't a new idea. You know, we were copying what has been done across the country. We've identified hundreds of other worker centers throughout the United States, and it really seems to have cropped up out of a need, particularly in immigrant communities, for there to be, you know, a place where people can come to, particularly people who are less familiar with how things work in this country, to get support, to get information, to be able to speak to someone in a language that they're fluent in, and to get that kind of support. And also to work with each other and have a location where they can do that. You know, with the Workers' Rights Center being around for a while now, we've seen lots of workers over the 10 years that we've been open. And by far the biggest group of workers that we've seen are workers who work in restaurants. And that's also the industry where we've seen the highest level of labor violations, you know, unpaid wages, wage theft, and it's sort of in all sorts of different manifestations. People not getting minimum wage, people not being paid overtime, people having hours deducted from their, you know, from their checks, workers just being fired and told that you're not going to get your last paycheck, and if you try, we're going to contact ICE and have you deported. You know, so we see a lot of that kind of stuff. We see health and safety violations, we see sexual harassment, we see discrimination based on race, based on ethnicity, all that sort of stuff. And over the years, we've had public campaigns, we've filed lots and lots of complaints against various businesses that have been exploiting their employees. But the question that we kept getting over and over again from our supporters was, well, you told us where not to go to, so that's clear, but where should we go to instead?
And so this guide was designed to help highlight the good restaurants in Madison, to try and tell people this is where you should go. And so we started by just surveying workers, and so we would be on State Street. We went into restaurants actually, and that was kind of a tricky thing, because going in you have to, you know, you can ask the hostess at a restaurant, hey, would you mind if we interviewed you for our guide that we're producing? They have to go ask their manager, and a lot of times the managers were really cooperative. They're like, yeah, I'd love if you would interview them, but you know, then sometimes you get those that aren't. So then we just asked questions about the workplace environment, how much, like their hourly wage, if they were offered benefits, paid sick time, and things like that. And then the guide was produced with ratings, with the stars. So the best restaurants get more stars, and so it's distributed free. It's also online in a PDF form, but we distributed them to restaurants around Madison, saying, especially the ones that did really well, wanted to highlight it, you know, that, hey, we're featured in here and we have a lot of stars, you know, you should continue to come here. And so that, I think, is really cool, because, you know, people a lot of times pick a restaurant based on the food. That's kind of the guides that are usually produced, but this one, based on how they treat their employees, I think is really, really cool. It's not something I'd ever seen before, and I really, really liked working on that project.
One of the most easily seen benefits is the 100% fully paid health care if you're full-time. Our insurance people are just like, nobody does that. But we do, and that's an important thing. So as soon as we can start funding that, we do, and we do that at all the restaurants. There's 401k benefits that people have to opt out of. Basically, you're enrolled. If you work for us, you're enrolled in 401k unless you say, do not save my money for me. And so we talk about that kind of thing. I think a lot of what, and then we talk about the finance. I think that if you share with people information about your business and about how it's running, I think that that's a sign of respect. I mean, to me it is. To me, that's a huge benefit. Now, whether anybody else sees it or not, but I've worked for a lot of different companies, and that just impressed the hell out of me, that you could see what are the sales, how much are we spending on labor, and people get all this information. And to me, that's just, I respect that your intelligence, for one thing, and I'm not going to sit there and pat you on the head and say, oh, things are fine, and then you're going to get laid off the next day. That has happened to me, and it's very irritating, to say the least.
Empiezan como a decirle al empleado que están teniendo problemas económicos, pero que sigan trabajando, que se les va a pagar Y entonces da un tiempo donde ya el empleado dice, no me están pagando, yo no quiero trabajar, entonces dejo de trabajar y entonces dejan de trabajar y luego ellos siguen cobrando su dinero, pero cuando ellos van a cobrar su dinero se dan con que la empresa se declaró en quiebra, entonces ya ha sido diferente en todos los aspectos. Más que todo el trato a los empleados es bastante diferente que en otras empresas y la forma de la habilidad que hay para que trabajes o cuando no puedes trabajar no es ningún problema, puedes hacer siempre tus cosas. Sí, de verdad me siento bastante cómodo porque creo que te refieres a que a veces tú no vienes de ánimo para trabajar y pues más que todo los que trabajamos en un turno a veces lo mantenemos por bastante tiempo, entonces la relación de nosotros se hace como que más cerca. Entonces cuando nosotros vemos que alguien de los empleados no está pasando un buen momento, entonces nosotros tratamos de darle el ánimo para que él llegue a estar al mismo ánimo de todos y ya pues todos terminamos felices al final del turno.
Todos están
sí.
trabajando, ¿verdad?
Sí, por eso te digo que prácticamente somos una familia.
We are mostly volunteer run. We do volunteer trainings, every few months by people who are interested in volunteering, people who are interested in this kind of work. We get a lot of pre-law students, we get a lot of social work students, we get a lot of retired community members who are interested in, giving back. So there's lots of different ways people can plug in. We provide a variety of different kinds of training so that people are comfortable and have a handle on the information. It's a great opportunity for people to practice their Spanish if they want to do that. So people can find out about that more if they contact us. Our phone number is 608-255-0376. They can email us at worker1@sbcglobal.net. Either way is a good way. We have some information on our website, wrcmadison.org.